Listen to me. You are built for more. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care where you came from. And I don't care how many times you failed. Deep inside you, there's something greater. You were not designed to settle for average. You were not created just to survive. You were built to dominate, to lead, to inspire, and to rise above every challenge that comes your way. See, too many people have allowed life to convince them that mediocrity is normal. But I came to tell you, normal is not your destiny. You were created to push past limits, to break cycles, and to become everything God placed inside of you. When you wake up every morning, you've got to remind yourself, I'm built for more. Built for more than excuses, built for more than fear, built for more than comfort. You got a fire in you, but you keep letting the world put water on your flame. It's time to ignite it again. You don't grow in comfort, you grow in pressure. Diamonds don't shine until they go through pressure. Steel doesn't strengthen until it goes through the fire. Stop running from the hard moments. Those are the moments shaping you into who you were meant to become. And don't you dare compare your journey to somebody else's. You might not be where they are, but if you keep grinding, if you keep believing, if you keep showing up, you'll surpass everything you ever imagined. Because greatness doesn't belong to the talented, it belongs to the driven. So from this day forward, stop playing small. Stop letting fear dictate your moves. Start operating like somebody who's built for more. You've got a purpose, you've got a calling, you've got greatness. Now it's time to live like it. You have to understand something. Your life changes the moment you realize what you're truly made of. Most people spend their entire existence looking outward for validation, waiting for someone to tell them they're special. They're talented. They're good enough. But here's the truth. The power, the greatness, the purpose you've been searching for is already in you. You don't need anybody to give you permission to be great. You were born with it. It's been in you since day one. You were designed, built, and equipped for more than the average life. The problem is, somewhere along the line, you forgot who you were. You let failure convince you that you're not good enough. You let other people's opinions become your limits. You let fear talk louder than faith. But I'm here to remind you that what's in you is greater than what's against you. You are built for more. The reason so many people never step into their greatness isn't because they don't have potential. It's because they never recognize it. They've allowed the world to define who they are instead of deciding it for themselves. See, when you don't know your worth, you start accepting discounts on your life. You start lowering your standards. You start believing that average is okay. But I came to tell you, average is not your DNA. You weren't created to blend in. You were built to stand. The moment you start recognizing your true potential is the moment you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop chasing approval. You stop being afraid of what people think. Because when you know who you are, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. It starts with a mindset shift. You've got to start looking in the mirror differently. Every morning when you wake up, you've got to stop seeing your flaws, your failures, your past mistakes, and start seeing potential, purpose, and power. Because how you see yourself determines how you show up in the world. If you see yourself as weak, you'll act weak. If you see yourself as a victim, you'll keep living like one. But if you start seeing yourself as capable, as powerful, as chosen, you'll move different. You'll start walking with confidence, speaking with authority, and chasing your goals like you belong in the room. Because you do belong there. You can't let your past define you. I know you've made mistakes. I know you've been through pain. I know there were times you thought you'd never make it out. But guess what? You did. And that means there's still something inside you worth fighting for. Every scar you carry isn't proof of weakness. It's proof of survival. It's proof that even when life hit, you didn't stay down. You may have fallen, but you didn't fold. You're still here, and that means your story isn't over. So stop focusing on who you were and start focusing on who you're becoming. You've got untapped strength, untapped creativity, untapped greatness inside of you, but you'll never access it if you keep living based on your past, on your potential, and something you find. It's something you uncover. It's buried beneath layers of fear, insecurity, doubt, and laziness. You've got to dig it out. You've got to wake up every day with the mindset that you're not finished yet. You're not done growing. You're not done learning. And you're not done becoming. The world hasn't seen your best yet. You've got more inside you than you've ever used. More talent, more resilience, more vision, more drive. But potential without action means nothing. It's not enough to say you're built for more. You've got to start living like it. You've got to start putting in the work, even when nobody's watching. Too many people want the reward without the responsibility. They want the outcome without the process. But potential only grows when it's tested. You'll never know how strong you are until life pushes you. You'll never know what's possible until you step out of comfort. The problem is, most people quit right before they discover what they're made of. They give up when things get tough. But the ones who win, the ones who ride, the ones who reach their full potential, they're the ones who keep going even when it hurts. They know that pressure is proof of progress. Every challenge you face isn't there to stop you. It's there to reveal you. You got to stop waiting for someone to believe in you and start believing in yourself. I know you've been overlooked. I know people have doubted you. I know they've said you're not capable, not smart enough, not talented enough. But their opinion isn't your destiny. You don't need their validation to operate in your gift. When you truly recognize your potential, you stop chasing people and start chasing purpose. You stop trying to fit into places you've outgrown. You stop settling for jobs, relationships, and environments that don't align with who you're becoming. Because when you know your worth, you stop discounting yourself to be accepted. There's a version of you that you haven't even met yet, and that version is unstoppable. But to meet that version, you've got to kill the version that's comfortable. The one that keeps saying, I can't. The one that keeps procrastinating, the one that keeps making excuses. You can't live in your potential and your comfort zone at the same time. One has to die for the other to live. And when you decide to let go of fear, when you decide to step up, when you decide to bet on yourself, that's when everything changes. That's when doors start opening, opportunities start appearing, and people start seeing what you've always had inside of you. You were built for more than surviving. You were built for thriving. You were built for thriving. You were built for leadership, for excellence, for impact. You gotta start acting like it. Start showing up with energy. Start taking pride in your work. Start setting goals that scare you a little, because the more you stretch yourself, the more of your potential you unlock. Every level of growth requires a new level of belief. And that belief starts with recognizing that you already have what it takes. I want you to think about something. When a seed is planted, nobody sees its potential. It's buried, it's covered in dirt, it's invisible, but inside that seed is a forest waiting to grow. The same is true for you. Maybe right now you feel buried. Maybe life has thrown dirt on you. Maybe people have counted you out. But you're not buried, you're planted. And if you stay committed, if you keep growing, if you keep pushing through the darkness, you'll rise, you'll bloom, you'll become everything you were created to be. Because that's what happens when you recognize your potential and refuse to let circumstances define your destiny. You can't play small anymore. The world doesn't need more people pretending to be average. The world needs your gift. It needs your energy, your ideas, your story. You got something that can change lives, but it starts with you changing how you see yourself. If you don't believe you're capable, nobody else will. If you don't speak life over your dream, nobody else will. You got to start declaring who you are, not who people said you were. Start speaking strength when you feel weak. Start speaking progress when you feel stuck. Because words shape reality, and your words are powerful. When you finally recognize your true potential, something shifts inside you. You stop making excuses. You stop wasting time. You start wasting time. You start lining your actions with your purpose. You start protecting your peace. You start setting standards that reflect your worth. And you start walking with a level of confidence that I may not be there yet. I'm on my way. You realize you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. Because potential without persistence die up. But persistence turns potential into purpose, into power. There will be days when you don't feel like it. There will be moments when the vision looks too big. But that's exactly when you got to remind yourself who you are. You've made it through too much to stop now. You've survived what was meant to break you. You've grown through what was meant to bury you. So if you can overcome all that, why doubt yourself now? You're stronger than you think, smarter than you think, closer than you think. You just have to keep believing that the best version of you is still in progress. You were not born by accident. You were built on purpose for a purpose. Every gift, every talent, every experience you've had, it's all been preparing you for something bigger. Stop hiding your greatness. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Stop apologizing for wanting more out of life. You're not greedy. You're growing. You're not arrogant. You're aware of your potential. And when you finally start walking in that awareness, when you start living with that confidence, when you start operating like someone built for more, that's when your life changes. You've got to remind yourself daily, I'm built for more. More peace, more growth, more discipline, more love, more purpose, more impact. Because the moment you recognize your true potential, the world around you starts to shift. You start attracting better opportunities, better relationships, better outcomes. Because greatness recognizes greatness. So stop living beneath your calling. Stop doubting your gift. Stand tall, speak life, and walk in power. Because you, my friend, are built for more. The biggest battle you will ever fight in your life is not with other people, it's with yourself. It's not the world that limits you. It's the limits you build inside your own mind. The truth is, you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. But somewhere along the way, you've allowed fear, doubt, and insecurity to build walls around your potential. You've told yourself, I can't, so many times that you started to believe it. But those limits aren't real. They're self-made. They exist only because you keep feeding them. And if you created them, you can destroy them. You've got to stop living under the ceiling you built for yourself. You've got to break the limits you set for your own life. See, the human mind is powerful. It can either be your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. Every day, you decide which one it's going to be. Most people never reach their true potential because they've accepted their limits as true. They've decided, I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. Oh, I wasn't born with the right opportunities. But that's not reality. That's fear talking. That's the part of your mind that's afraid of failure. And the only way to defeat fear is to face it. You can't run from it. You can't avoid it. You gotta confront it head on and tell it, you don't control me anymore. Every single person who's ever achieved greatness started in the same place you are. With doubt, with fear, with uncertainty. The difference is they refuse to let those emotions dictate their destiny. They pushed through the discomfort. They took action when it didn't make sense. They kept going when it was hard. Because they understood something most people don't. The limit is not real. The only thing standing between who you are and who you could be is belief. Once you change the way you think, everything else changes. The mind will always look for reasons to protect you. It's designed to keep you safe. But safe doesn't create success. Safe doesn't create impact. Safe doesn't lead to growth. You can't live an extraordinary life while playing it safe. You gotta take risks. You've got to get uncomfortable. You've got to step into places where you feel unqualified because that's where growth happens. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you stretch the limits of what's possible. You expand your capacity. And with each small step, you prove to yourself that the limit you thought was there never actually existed. So many people stop before they even start because they've already convinced themselves it's impossible. They dream small because they don't believe they deserve big. But you got to understand something. The size of your dream determines the size of your growth. Days and Wayne. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. If it doesn't push you, challenge you, or make you uncomfortable, it's not stretching your potential. Don't let fear talk you out of your destiny. Fear will always whisper, what if you fail? Or if faith responds, what if I fly? You've got to stop letting the negative voice inside your head have the final say. Breaking limits starts with awareness. You've got to become conscious of the lies you tell yourself. When you catch yourself saying, I can't, stop and ask, why not? When you think, I'm not good enough, ask, who told me that? You'll realize that most of your limits were never yours. They were given to you by people who stopped believing in themselves. Maybe it was a teacher, a parent, a friend, or society telling you to be realistic. But you don't owe them your life. You owe yourself the chance to see what's possible. You owe it to yourself to test your limits. Because nothing is more painful than looking back one day and realizing you never discovered how powerful you really were. You have to reprogram your mind for greatness. Every day you gotta speak life into yourself. You gotta tell yourself, I can do this, I will make it, I'm capable. Because your thoughts shape your reality. If you keep feeding your mind negativity, you'll live a limited life. But if you feed it faith, courage, and positivity, you'll start to see possibilities you never noticed before. What you believe about yourself determines how you act, and how you act determines the results you get. So, if you want to break limits, you got to start by breaking the thoughts that built them. Stop telling yourself it's too late. Stop saying you're not ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There will never be a perfect time to chase your dream. You'll never have all the answers. You'll never feel fully prepared, but you've got to move anyway. Action destroys fear. Every step you take, no matter how small, chips away at the wall of limitation. The more you move, the smaller your fear becomes. The only people who stay trapped are the ones who never take the first step. Breaking limits isn't about being fearless. It's about having the courage to act in spite of fear. It's about refusing to let fear dictate your destiny. You've got to make a decision. Either live within the limits you've accepted or live beyond them. Every time you say, I can, you're handing your power away. Every time you give up too early, you're proving your limits right. But when you keep going, when you keep pushing, when you keep believing, even when there's no visible progress, that's when you rewrite the story. That's when you prove that your limits were never real in the first place. Let me tell you something. Growth hurts. It's supposed to. When you stretch yourself, when you demand more from yourself, when you push past the edge of comfort, it's going to feel uncomfortable. But that's the price of evolution. That pain you feel is not punishment. It's progress. It's your old self fighting to stay alive while your new self is being born. You can't become who you were meant to be while holding on to who you used to be. You've got to let go of the excuses, the fears, the habits, the people, and the environments that keep you small. You've got to understand that your limits are an illusion created by repetition. The more you fail, the more your mind tries to protect you by saying, don't try again. But failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. Every failure carries a lesson. Every mistake brings you closer to mastery. But if you stop trying, you stop growing. You stop discovering who you could have been. The real tragedy in life isn't failing. It's never knowing how far you could have gone because you stopped believing in yourself. There are people out there doing incredible things with less talent, fewer resources, and harder circumstances, not because they're better than you, but because they stopped accepting limits. They stopped saying, I can't, and started saying, I'll find a way. You got that same ability. The same power, the same drive, the same spirit. The only question is, will you use it? Will you stop letting fear and doubt dictate your life? Will you decide once and for all that the only limits that exist are the ones you refuse to challenge? It's not supposed to be easy. If it were, everyone would do it. But you got something special. You've got a fire that's been trying to break out for years. It's time to feed that fire. It's time to stop letting your circumstances define your ceiling. You might not have control over how you start, but you have control over how you finish. You can rise above any situation, any obstacle, any limitation, but you've got to make the decision to fight. Every day you wake up, you've got to remind yourself, I'm not done yet. I'm not limited by my past. I'm not defined by my failures. I'm still in the game. Breaking limits requires consistency. You can't just believe for a day or a week. You got to live it every day. You got to keep showing up when the motivation fades. You got to keep grinding when the results are slow. You got to keep believing when nobody else sees the vision. Because the more consistent you are, the more your limits crumble. You'll look back one day and realize that the things you once thought were impossible are now your new normal. Don't let fear of what could go wrong stop you from discovering what could go right. The risk you're afraid to take might be the one that changes your entire life. The opportunity you keep ignoring might be the key to your breakthrough. You've got to trust the process. You've got to believe that everything you need to break through those limits is already inside of you. It just needs to be activated through action. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just playing inside a box that you built. And you got the power to break out of it. The moment you decide to take ownership of your life, the moment you stop blaming circumstances, the moment you say, I'm done living small, that's the moment everything changes. Because the only person who can stop you is you. So from this moment on, stop letting fear run your life. Stop listening to the voice that says, stay safe. Stay safe. Start listening to the one that says, I take the leap. Because that voice, the one that's whispering that you were meant for more, that's your potential calling you. It's the voice of your greatness trying to break free. Don't silence it with excuses, feed it with action. You've been built with everything you need to go further, do more, and become more. But it's up to you to break the limits and unlock it. Don't let your dreams die inside the walls of fear. Push, fight, believe. And remember, the limits you have are not real. They're just stories you told yourself for too long. Rewrite the story. Redefine what's possible. And live like the person you were always meant to be, because you were built for more. Staying hungry for growth is not just about wanting more. It's about becoming more. It's about living every day with a mindset that refuses to stay the same. Hunger is what separates the great from the good, the extraordinary from the average. Hunger's the fire that wakes you up before the alarm, that pushes you to keep going when you're tired, that makes you dig deeper when everyone else quits. It's not about having everything. It's about never being satisfied with where you are. Because the moment you stop growing, you start dying. The moment you stop learning, you start losing. Growth is the heartbeat of success, and hunger is the fuel that keeps it alive. You see, life will always test how hungry you really are. It's easy to say you want more, but how bad do you want it? When it's dark, when it's lonely, when nobody believes in you, will you still keep pushing? That's what hunger looks like. It's not just passion, it's obsession. It's that burning desire that keeps you grinding when the excitement fades, when the applause stops, when progress feels invisible. Growth isn't glamorous. It's gritty. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. But if you can stay hungry through the grind, you'll find yourself doing things you once thought were impossible. The problem with most people is that they lose their hunger after a little bit of success. They get a taste of victory and they slow down. They forget the struggle that got them there. They forget the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the rejection, the pain. Success can be dangerous if you let it make you comfortable. The hunger that got you there has to stay alive, even after you arrive. The most dangerous place to be is satisfied, because satisfaction leads to stagnation, and stagnation kills potential. The great ones never stop evolving. They never stop learning. They never stop growing. Look at every legend. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, they all share one thing in common: hunger. Kobe Bryant didn't stop practicing after winning championship. He wanted to be better every season. Elon Musk didn't stop after building one successful company. He built more because he was obsessed with progress. They all understood that the pursuit of greatness is endless. There's always another level, another skill to learn, another challenge to overcome. Hunger is the mindset that says, I'm grateful for what I had, but I'm not done yet. It's the balance between contentment and ambition, being thankful for today while still fighting for tomorrow. Growth is not a straight path. It's messy, unpredictable, and painful. But hunger keeps you steady through it. Hunger keeps you from giving up when growth gets uncomfortable. Because real growth doesn't happen in easy seasons. It happens in struggle. It happens when you're stretched, challenged, and pushed to your limits. The pain of growth is the price of progress. If you're not willing to pay that price, you'll never reach your potential. You can't be hungry for growth and afraid of discomfort at the same time. You've got to embrace the process. You've got to understand. You've got to understand that every setback is preparing you for the next level. Staying hungry means you never stop learning. You never think you know enough. You never stop reading, studying, listening, surrounding yourself with people who challenge your thinking. The most dangerous phrase you can ever say is, I already know. Because the moment you say that, you close the door to new possibilities. Hunger keeps you curious. It makes you a student of life. It keeps you open to feedback, correction, and change. The greats don't just want to win. They want to grow into the kind of person who can sustain winning. And that requires humility. That requires hunger. You've got to wake up every morning asking yourself, what can I learn today? How can I be better than I was yesterday? Because growth is not automatic. You don't wake up and get better by accident. You have to be intentional about it. You have to seek out opportunities to stretch yourself. You have to chase environments that challenge your potential. If you only surround yourself with people who make you comfortable, you'll never grow. You gotta be around people who are smarter, stronger, more disciplined, people who inspire you to level up. Hunger doesn't survive in comfort, it thrives in challenge. Sometimes hunger means saying no. No to distractions, no to laziness, no to temporary pleasure. Hunger means prioritizing growth over comfort. It means doing the hard thing when no one's watching. It means spending your free time learning instead of wasting it. It means sacrificing the temporary for the eternal. You gotta ask yourself, are you feeding your hunger or your habits? Because whatever you feed will grow. If you feed your hunger with action, with discipline, with learning, it'll grow stronger. But if you feed your comfort, your hunger will fade. The key is to remember why you started. When things get hard, go back to that fire inside of you, the vision, the dream, the purpose that made you begin in the first place. Hunger is not just about achieving goals. It's about fulfilling purpose. It's about knowing that you were built for more and refusing to stop until you get there. Every obstacle, every delay, every failure is testing your hunger. Are you hungry enough to keep moving when progress is slow? Are you hungry enough to stay focused when distractions scream for your attention? Are you hungry enough to keep believing when everything looks like it's falling apart? That's where growth happens, in the trenches, in the dark, when nobody claps for you. When you stay hungry for growth, you stop comparing yourself to others. Because hunger makes you compete with who you were yesterday, not with someone else. You stop worrying about what people think, and you start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. You start seeing failure differently, not as the end, but as feedback. You start understanding that every mistake is a lesson, every setback a setup for something greater. Hunger gives you resilience. It gives you that bounce back power. It gives you the ability to say, Zuck, I may be down, but I'm not done. And here's the truth. Growth never stops. No matter how old you are, no matter how much you've accomplished, there's always room to improve. The moment you think you've made it, you start losing it. You got to keep evolving mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You got to keep stretching your capacity. You got to keep challenging your limits. That's how you stay relevant. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you stay alive. Hunger doesn't mean dissatisfaction. It means drive. It's not about being unhappy with what you have. It's about refusing to waste what you've been given. You were blessed with potential, with talent, with opportunity, and hunger is how you honor that gift. You honor it by giving your best, by pushing yourself, by refusing to waste your life, doing the bare minimum. Hunger is gratitude in motion. It's saying, thank you for what I have, but I know there's more in me. So if you want to live a life of purpose, stay hungry. Keep that fire alive no matter what happens. When people doubt you, let that fuel you. When life knocks you down, get back up hungry. When you win, celebrate. But don't stop, because success is not the end. It's just another beginning. You got to keep reaching, keep learning, keep evolving. The world belongs to those who refuse to stop growing. You've got two choices in life. You can be comfortable or you can be great. You can't be both. Comfort keeps you the same. Hunger transforms you. Comfort whispers you've done enough. Hunger screams that there's more in you. Comfort says, take a break. Hunger says, stay focused. Comfort says, well, you can. Hunger says, watch me. Stay hungry for growth, because life will only give you what you demand from it. If you demand comfort, you'll get average. If you demand challenge, you'll get greatness. Hunger is the difference between a dreamer and a doer. It's the difference between wishing for change and working for it. Don't let your hunger die. Feed it daily with purpose, discipline, and faith. Because the hungrier you are, the farther you'll go. You were built for more, but it's hunger that will take you there. Keep feeding it, keep chasing it, keep becoming, because as long as you're hungry, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Discipline over motivation. That's the real difference maker. Motivation feels good. It gets you excited. It makes you want to start. But discipline is what keeps you moving long after the feeling fades. Motivation is the spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning through the storm, through the struggle, through the silence. Anyone can be motivated when everything is going right, when the sun is shining, when people are clapping. But it's discipline that keeps you moving when it's dark, when nobody sees your effort, when your body's tired and your mind's screaming to quit. If you want to be great, you can't depend on motivation. You've got to build discipline. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation can get you out of bed once or twice, but discipline will have you showing up every single day. Motivation gets you excited about your goals, but discipline builds habits that make those goals a reality. Motivation fades when life gets hard, but discipline thrives in difficulty. The truth is, motivation doesn't care about your dreams. Discipline does. Motivation might get you started, but only discipline can finish the job. Most people fail not because they don't have the talent or the dream, but because they're waiting to feel like it. They think they need to be motivated to act. But that's a lie. You'll never always feel ready. You'll never always feel inspired. You'll never always feel like giving your best. And that's why discipline is so powerful. Because it doesn't ask how you feel. It just asks what needs to be done. Discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It just does the work. You've got to learn to control your emotions before they control your consistency. Discipline is doing what's necessary, even when you don't want to. It's showing up when no one else does. It's choosing progress over comfort, long-term goals over short-term pleasure. Discipline is waking up early when your bed feels like heaven. It's going to the gym when your muscles ache. It's studying when your friends are partying. It's making that call, writing that page, practicing that skill over and over, even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive. Because excellence is built in repetition. Champions aren't born from motivation. They're born from discipline. Think about the most successful people in any field. They all have one thing in common: consistency. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. They build routines that make success automatic. They don't need to get hyped up every morning. Their habits do the heavy lifting. Kobe Bryant didn't wake up every day motivated to practice at 4 a.m. He didn't always feel like pushing himself to exhaustion. But he did it anyway, because discipline was his standard. He didn't let his feelings dictate his work ethic. He let his goals dictate his action. That's the power of discipline. It builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you do, even when you don't feel like it, you build self-respect. You start believing in yourself at a deeper level. You stop making excuses because you know you're capable of pushing through discomfort. You become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Discipline creates strength that motivation can never give you. Motivation might inspire you, but discipline transforms you. Motivation makes you dream. Discipline makes you execute. You don't need to be motivated every day. You need to be committed every day. Commitment is what keeps you consistent. Discipline is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Every single day, you have two choices. You can do what's easy, or you can do what's necessary. Easy brings regret. Necessary brings results. You gotta stop chasing feelings and start chasing results. The people who reach greatness are not the ones who feel inspired all the time. They're the ones who work even when they're uninspired. They show up tired. They show up stressed. They show up anyway, because they know that consistency beats intensity. Doing a little bit every day beats doing a lot once in a while. The results you want to build through discipline, through the small daily decisions that most people overlook. Motivation is flash. Discipline is quiet. Motivation screams. Discipline whispers. Motivation burns hot for a moment. Discipline burns steady for a lifetime. Discipline is that inner voice that said, I made a promise to myself and I'm going to keep it. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about doing what's right even when it's inconvenient. It's about mastering your habits instead of being mastered by your moods. Sometimes people think discipline means being strict or robotic. But that's not true. Discipline is freedom. When you're disciplined, you control your life instead of your life controlling you. You free yourself from procrastination, from regret, from guilt. You gain confidence because you know you can rely on yourself. You don't need external motivation or validation. Your actions speak for themselves. Discipline gives you power. It gives you control over your time, your energy, and your destiny. Discipline also builds momentum. When you start being consistent, even in small things, you create a rhythm of success. You start seeing progress, and that progress becomes its own motivation. But you've got to start even when it's hard. even when it's uncomfortable. Because once you start, discipline takes over. And once discipline takes over, nothing can stop you. If you only work when you feel motivated, you'll never reach your potential. Because there will be days when you're tired, days when you're frustrated, days when you doubt yourself. But those are the days that define you. Those are the days that build your character. Discipline is not built when things are easy. It's built when things are hard. Every time you push through resistance, you get tougher. Every time you choose action over excuses, you get stronger. That's how discipline transforms you, one decision at a time. There will be days when nobody claps for you, days when your effort goes unnoticed, days when progress feels invisible. But discipline doesn't care about applause. Discipline doesn't need attention. It's about integrity, doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching. It's about showing up for your goals because they matter to you, not because the world is watching. That's what separates the committed from the casual, the doers from the dreamers. And understand this, discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. You build it by making one right choice at a time. You build it by keeping promises to yourself. You build it by getting up after every failure. The more disciplined you become, the more you realize you don't need motivation to get things done. You start creating your own momentum. You start living with structure and purpose. There will always be distractions, friends, entertainment, comfort, trying to pull you away from your goals. But discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady. It reminds you what's important. It keeps your priorities in line. It's not about saying a no to fun or rest. It's about saying yes to your purpose. It's about understanding that sacrifice today creates freedom tomorrow. Discipline doesn't restrict you. It positions you for success. And here's something powerful. Once you master discipline in one area of your life, it starts spreading to others. If you become disciplined in your fitness, it impacts your mindset. If you become disciplined in your finances, it impacts your stability. If you become disciplined in your relationships, it impacts your peace. Discipline is the foundation that holds every part of your life together. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. It's not coming every day, but discipline can. Discipline is a decision. It's a daily choice to keep going. It's waking up and saying, no matter how I feel, I'm showing up, because that's what winners do. Winners act regardless of emotion. Winners understand that every day they stay disciplined. They get one step closer to destiny. Motivation will get you started, but discipline will make you unstoppable. Discipline will take you places motivation can't reach. Discipline will make you consistent when motivation fades. Discipline will keep you focused when distractions multiply. Discipline will help you finish what motivation only helped you begin. So make this your promise. From now on, you will stop chasing motivation and start building discipline. You will stop relying on feelings, stop relying on commitment. You will show up every single day, no matter what. Because greatness is not built in moments of excitement. It's built in moments of discipline. And when you learn to master yourself, when you learn to move regardless of how you feel, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid pain, trying to stay comfortable, trying to live without struggle. But that's why most people never grow. You have to understand that pain is part of the process. Growth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in struggle, in disappointment, in hard days, where you question if it's even worth it. But those moments, those are the ones that build you. Those are the moments that separate the average from the extraordinary. When life gets hard, that's not the time to quit. That's the time to lean in. Because the pain you feel today is a strength you'll stand on tomorrow. You have to stop looking at pain as punishment. Pain is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're evolving. It's proof that you're stretching yourself beyond what's easy. Nobody becomes great without it. Diamonds are created under pressure. Muscles grow when they're torn. Steel becomes strong only after it's been through fire. So why do you think you'll become your best self without going through something? You've got to go through the fire. You've got to go through the breaking, the bending, the frustration. Because that's how you transform. That's how you find out what you're really made of. Every person you admire, every person you call successful, every person who's at the top of their field, they've been through pain. They've cried. They've failed. They've been rejected. They've been betrayed. But they didn't stop there. They learned to use pain as fuel. They turned their hurt into hunger. They use every setback as motivation to keep moving. That's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Some people let pain destroy them. Others let it define them. The grace let pain develop them. You've got to learn to embrace the process even when it hurts. Stop running from the struggle. Stop wishing it were easier. Stop wishing to be stronger. Because the more you resist the hard parts, the longer you delay your growth. Every obstacle you avoid is a lesson you skip. And skip lessons always come back around. So face it now. Endure it now. Learn from it now, because the sooner you do, the sooner you'll evolve into the person you're supposed to become. There's something about pain that brings clarity. It shows you who you are. It reveals what you really value. When life is easy, everybody can smile, everybody can stay motivated. But when life hits you, when the plan falls apart, when the people you trusted walk away, when the doors close, that's when your true character is revealed. Pain strips away the fake. It removes the excuses. It shows you who's real and what's real. That's why pain is so powerful. It exposes truth. And if you can look that truth in the eye without running, you'll become unstoppable. There will be times when you feel like the pain is too much. Times when you want to give up because it feels like nothing is working. But I need you to understand, pain is temporary. It doesn't last forever. Every storm runs out of rain. Every night eventually gives way to morning. The problem is, most people quit in the middle of the storm. They stop right before the breakthrough. They let pain convince them it's over, when in reality, it's just beginning. You've got to keep walking through it. You can't stop in the fire. You've got to keep moving until you come out refined. When you change your perspective on pain, you stop seeing it as the enemy and start seeing it as a gift. Because pain makes you humble. It makes you focused. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you still have work to do. Pain is the reason you don't take success for granted. It's the reason you appreciate what you've earned. Without it, you never grow discipline. Without it, you never build resilience. Without it, you never know what you're capable of surviving. Pain is the price you pay for progress. You can't ask for greatness and then run from the process that creates it. You can't pray for strength and then get mad when life gives you situations that require it. You can't ask to level up and then quit when pressure shows up. That's not how this works. Every trial, every setback, every painful moment, it's all preparing you. It's shaping your mindset, sharpening your focus, molding your spirit. You're not losing, you're learning. You're not being punished, you're being positioned, you're being prepared for what you prayed for. Sometimes pain is the only thing that gets your attention. You won't change until it hurts to stay the same. You won't move until staying still becomes unbearable. That's why pain comes. It's life's way of saying it's time to grow. So stop cursing the process and start listening to it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's teaching you strength. Maybe it's teaching you how to let go. But whatever the lesson is, don't run from it, embrace it. I get it. It's hard. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. But pain is proof that you're alive. It's proof that you still have a chance to become something greater. You can't numb it. You can't hide from it, and you can't ignore it, because pain ignored becomes pain multiplied. The only way out is through. You've got to walk through the darkness with faith that light is on the other side. You've got to believe that every tear you cry, every sleepless night, every moment of struggle, it's all adding up to something bigger. Because it is. Pain is never wasted when you keep moving. When you look back one day, you'll realize that the things that hurt you the most taught you the most. You'll realize that every time you thought you were breaking, you were actually building. That every moment of pain was preparing you for a season of power. You'll see that the strength you have now didn't come from easy days. It came from the days you didn't think you'd make it, but you did. That's the beauty of pain. It transforms you. You can't go through it and stay the same. Pain also builds empathy. It connects you to others. When you've been through something, you can reach people on a deeper level because you understand what it feels like to struggle. You can inspire others because you survived what they're trying to overcome. That's how purpose is born, through pain. The thing that once hurt you becomes the thing that helps someone else heal. That's why you can't waste your pain. You've got to use it. You got to let it drive you, not destroy you. Don't let pain make you bitter. Let it make you better. Don't let it close your heart. Let it open your eyes. Because sometimes what looks like a breakdown is really a breakthrough. Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually redirection. You might not see it now, but everything you're going through is working for you. It's building the strength you'll need for the next level. You can't skip the process because the process is what makes you powerful. When life gets hard, don't ask, who are me? But ask, what is this building in me? Because if you can see pain's preparation, you'll stop resenting it and start respecting it. Every great story has conflict. Every hero has a struggle. You can't have victory without a battle. So if you're fighting right now, if you're hurting right now, that just means you're in the middle of your story, not the end of it. Keep turning the pages. Keep pushing forward. Because pain might be part of your journey, but it's not your destination. I know it's easy to give up when you're tired, when you're broken, when nothing seems to go right. But that's when you have to dig deeper. That's when you find out how strong you really are. Anybody can smile when it's easy, but true warriors are built in the dark. They're built when nobody's watching. They're built when they're crying and still pushing. You got that same strength in you. You've just got to stop running from the process. Pain has a purpose. It's shaping you into someone who can handle the blessing that's coming. Because the truth is, you can't walk into your next level with the same mindset you had in the last one. You've got to be stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more focused. And pain is what builds those qualities. You don't grow when life is easy. You grow when life challenges. You grow when you decide to keep going even when it hurts. So the next time you feel like quitting, remind yourself, this pain is not permanent. This struggle is not in vain. You're being refined. You're being prepared. The version of you on the other side of this will be wiser, tougher, and more powerful. Don't waste your pain. Don't run from it, embrace it. Learn from it, let it transform you. Because every ounce of pain you endure is producing strength, wisdom, and resilience. And those are the building blocks of greatness. You're not broken, you're being built, you're not being punished, you're not being punished. And when you come out of this, you'll realize that pain was never meant to stop you. It was meant to shape you. It was meant to remind you that you were built for more. Refusing to settle for mediocrity means declaring war on the easy path, the average mindset, and the comfort zone that keeps you small. Most people live their life stuck in neutral, not because they aren't capable of greatness, but because they got comfortable. They convinced themselves that a good enough was good enough. But let me tell you something. Good enough is the enemy of great. The moment you decide that what you have right now is all you'll ever need, you stop growing. You stop pushing. You stop evolving. You stop becoming. And that's not who you were built to be. You were built for more than mediocrity. You were built for excellence, for mastery, for impact. Mediocrity is subtle. It doesn't always show up loud. It's not always failure. Sometimes it's disguised as comfort. It's that voice that says, you're doing fine. You don't need to push harder. It's that satisfaction with showing up halfway prepared. It's the contentment with just getting the job done instead of getting it done right. It's skipping one workout, one reading session, one opportunity to grow because of your time. Mediocrity whispers to you when nobody's watching. It convinces you, take the shortcut to procrastinate, to wait for tomorrow. And before you know it, tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and next year. And you're in the same place, living the same life, with the same excuses. When you refuse to settle for mediocrity, you make a decision to be uncomfortable every single day. You decide that average effort is not enough. You stop chasing what's easy and start chasing what's excellent. You wake up with a hunger to stretch yourself, to go a little farther, stay a little longer, and do a little more than what's expected. Excellence isn't a destination, it's a standard. It's a way of life. It's saying, I'm going to give my best even when no one is watching. It's giving your full energy to every task, every goal, every dream, not because someone's keeping score, but because that's who you are. You don't settle because your spirit knows you're capable of more. Most people settle because they're afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of how much work it's going to take to be great. But you can't let fear run your life. You can't let fear dictate your destiny. You've got to understand that greatness demands something from you. It demands consistency, sacrifice, and resilience. You will fall. You will fall. You will get rejected. But every single one of those experiences is a lesson, a stepping stone to the next level. If you quit because it's hard, you'll never find out how far you could have gone. If you stop because you don't see instant results, you'll never taste what true victory feels like. There are two kinds of people in this world: those who settle and those who strive. The settlers play it safe. They stay in the same job, live in the same routine, and tell themselves stories about why they can't do more. The strivers, they live differently. They show up early, stay late, ask questions, learn constantly. They aren't satisfied with just enough. They want mastery. They want mastery. They want growth. They want impact. You can tell who's who by their habits. Settlers seek comfort. Strivers seek challenge. Settlers coast through life. Strivers climb. Settlers dream small. Strivers dream big. Which one of you raise your standards? Everything in your life starts to shift. You start attracting opportunities you never imagined. You start developing confidence that can't be shaken. You begin to move with purpose because you know mediocrity doesn't belong to you. It doesn't match your DNA. Excellence is contagious. Once you get a taste of what it feels like to give your all, you'll never go back. You'll start holding yourself accountable. You'll start expecting more from yourself. And that's when you separate yourself from the crowd. Think about it. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders all share one trait. They don't settle. They could easily rest on their achievements, but they don't. They keep sharpening their craft, perfecting their skills, and elevating their mindset. Kobe Bryant didn't stop practicing because he became an NBA champion. He worked harder. He studied more film, took more shots, woke up earlier. Why? Because excellence was his standard. He understood that success isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. It's a commitment to never being satisfied with yesterday's results. You can't claim you want greatness and still operate at a mediocre level. Your actions have to match your ambition. If you want to be the best, you have to train like the best. Think like the best and sacrifice like the best. That means saying no to distractions. That means choosing discipline over convenience. That means doing the hard things even when no one's cheering you on. Excellence doesn't always come with applause. It often comes with silence, sweat, and sacrifice. But the reward is knowing that you gave everything you had. It's the pride of looking in the mirror and saying, I left it all on the table. And let me make something clear. Refusing to settle for mediocrity isn't about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about never being comfortable with less than your best. It's about constant progress. Every day you should be asking yourself, how can I be better than I was yesterday? If you improve by just 1% each day, by the end of the year, you'll be unrecognizable. Excellence compounds. Small, consistent efforts create massive results. But you gotta be intentional. You gotta wake up every morning with a sense of urgency, knowing that time is precious and opportunity doesn't wait. You got dreams, but are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to endure the struggle, the rejection, the sacrifice that comes with greatness? Most people want the glory without the grind. They want the results without the resistance. But it doesn't work that way. You gotta earn it. Every single day. Greatness isn't given. It's taken by those who refuse to settle for anything less. And here's the truth. Mediocrity will always invite you to stay. It will tell you, you've done enough. It will make you feel comfortable, accepted, and safe. But comfort kills potential. The moment you choose comfort over challenge, you choose to stop growing. You choose to stay average, and deep down, you'll feel that discomfort. That quiet dissatisfaction that whispers you were meant for more. That's your spirit reminding you of who you are. Listen to it. Let it push you. Let it fuel you. Because the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. When you decide that you will not settle, you start walking differently. You start talking differently. You carry yourself with pride and conviction because you know you're operating with purpose. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You just need alignment with your vision, your values, and your purpose. That's what keeps you going when it gets hard. That's what separates those who succeed from those who stop. So from this day forward, raise your standards, raise your effort, raise your mindset. Don't show up halfway. Don't give partial energy. Give everything you have. Because when you give your all, the universe responds. Doors start opening. Opportunities start appearing. People start noticing. Not because you're lucky, but because you refuse to be average. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out. You were not created to settle for survival. You were created to thrive. Every fiber of your being was designed for greatness, so stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Stop dimming your light because others are afraid of your brightness. You owe it to yourself to live fully, to work relentlessly, to love deeply, and to give your absolute best in everything you do. Excellence is not about talent. It's about effort. It's about attitude. It's about consistency. You can't control what happens around you, but you can always control your standard. You can always control how you show up. And if you show up every day determined to be excellent, you'll start to see your life transform. Don't settle. Don't quit. Don't coast. You're not here to be average. You're here to set the standard. You're here to raise the bar. You're here to remind the world what's possible when someone refuses to settle for mediocrity. Because once you commit to excellence, once you decide that average is no longer an option, your life will never be the same again. Surround yourself with greatness because who you walk with determines how far you'll go. The people you spend time with shape your mindset, your habits, your energy, and ultimately your destiny. You can't expect to live a life of excellence while being surrounded by mediocrity. You can't soar like an eagle if you keep hanging around pigeons. If you want to grow, if you want to evolve, if you want to win at the highest level, you got to be intentional about your circle. Greatness is contagious, but so is mediocrity. If you want to go to the next level, you've got to start surrounding yourself with people who push you, challenge you, and hold you accountable to your potential. The truth is, your environment either fuels your greatness or feeds your excuses. You can't become who you were meant to be while surrounded by people who are content staying where they are. You can't expect to rise if the people around you are pulling you down. Sometimes the biggest step towards success isn't learning something new. It's letting go of people who don't want to grow, because not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Not everyone has the same hunger, the same vision, the same hunger, the same vision, the same mindset. And that's okay, but you've got to protect your energy. If you want to reach the top, you need people around you who see greatness in you even when you don't see it in yourself. People who won't let you settle for average. People who will tell you the truth even when it hurts. People who will call you out when you start slipping. Real friends don't let you stay comfortable. They push you toward your calling. They don't just hype you up. They hold you accountable. They challenge your excuses. They push you to rise above your circumstances. That's what real greatness does. It sharpens you. Think about this. Iron sharpens iron. Well, iron can't sharpen wood. If the people around you don't challenge you to grow, you'll stay dull. You'll lose your edge. You'll start to blend in instead of standing out. You can't grow sharp around people who don't want to be better. Surround yourself with those who challenge your thinking, who make you uncomfortable in a good way, who push you beyond what you think you can do. Because comfort zones create average lives, but pressure creates diamonds. Every great person you admire had a circle that helped shape them. Michael Jordan had teammates and coaches who pushed him to his limits. Steve Jobs surrounded himself with people who thought differently. Eric Thomas himself always talks about his accountability partners, people who check on his consistency, not his comfort. Success is not a solo mission, it's a team effort. You can have talent, drive, and dreams, but without the right circle, you'll burn out or give up before you reach your potential. The wrong people can drain your energy faster than failure ever could. They'll fill your mind with negativity, with doubt, with gossip, with fear. And if you're not careful, their energy will become your energy. That's why you gotta guard your space like it's sacred. You gotta be intentional about who gets access to you, because energy is contagious. If you hang around complainers, you'll start complaining. If you hang around dreamers, you'll start dreaming bigger. If you hang around disciplined people, their habits will rub off on you. You become what you're surrounded by, so choose wisely. It's not about being better than others. It's about finding people who make you better. You need people who are ahead of you, people who have already achieved what you're chasing. Because when you're around people who operate on a higher level, you start to rise to that level. You start thinking differently, working differently, believing differently. That's how growth happens, exposure. You can't become what you've never seen. Surround yourself with people who expand your vision, who open your mind to new possibilities, who live the kind of life that inspires you to step up your game. And it's not just about mentors, it's also about peers. You need friends who are running with you, people who are in the trenches, grinding, chasing, fighting for their dreams. That kind of energy is electric. When your circle is full of people who are hungry, driven, and disciplined, it becomes impossible to stay lazy. You see their hustle, and it reminds you of your purpose. Their growth pushes you to level up. Their success becomes proof that it's possible. But be careful, because some people only want to be around you for what you can give them, not for what you can grow together. Some people are energy vampires. They take, they drain, they distract. You've got to learn to recognize them and cut them loose. Protect your peace, your focus, and your purpose. You don't ever want access to your life. Love people, yes. Encourage people, yes. But be selective about who you let influence your direction. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Sometimes the hardest part of growth is outgrowing the people you love. But you can't stay small to make others comfortable. You can't dim your light because others are afraid of your brightness. If your growth offends them, let them go. You don't have to apologize for wanting more, for demanding more, for becoming more. If they truly love you, they'll grow with you. If not, their season in your life has served its purpose. Surrounding yourself with greatness isn't just about people who are successful on the outside. It's about people with character, integrity, and vision. You need people who live with discipline, who lead with love, who serve with humility. Because success without character is empty. The right people will not only help you win, they'll help you win the right way. They'll remind you to stay grounded, to stay focused, to stay true to who you are. And here's the truth. Greatness doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it's that quiet friend who keeps you accountable. Sometimes it's that mentor who pushes you when you want to quit. Sometimes it's that partner who believes in your dream when nobody else does. Greatness is not just about results. It's about influence. It's about having people who make you want to be better. Not because they say it, but because they live. If you want to measure your growth, look at your circle. Are you surrounded by people who are talking about ideas, growth, and purpose? Or are you surrounded by people talking about gossip, drama, and complaints? Your conversations reveal your direction. Small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about things. Great minds talk about purpose. If you want to elevate your life, elevate your conversation. The people around you should be mirrors and windows. Mirrors to reflect your flaws and windows to show your potential. They should make you aware of where you need to improve and inspire you to see where you can go. If you're the smartest, most driven person in your circle, it's time to find a new one. Growth requires discomfort. You need people who challenge you, who don't let you stay stuck in old habits. You need people who remind you that you're built for more. But don't just see greatness, contribute to it. Be the kind of person others want in their circle. Bring value, not just need. Encourage others, push them, hold them accountable, inspire them by your work ethic and your consistency. Be someone who adds, not someone who drains. Greatness grows best in environments where everyone is committed to becoming better together. The goal isn't to compete with your circle, it's to grow with them. When your friends win, you celebrate them. When they fail, you lift them up. When they're tired, you remind them why they started. That's what greatness does. It multiplies. It creates a culture where everyone wins because everyone's invested in each other's growth. So take a moment to evaluate your circle. Ask yourself, who around me pushes me to grow? Who holds me accountable? Who believes in my vision? And just as importantly, who drains me, distracts me, or keeps me stuck? Because your environment is shaping you every single day. If you want to change your life, start by changing your circle. Surround yourself with greatness, not perfection. Surround yourself with people who fail, but get back up, who dream big, who work hard, who stay humble. Surround yourself with people who remind you that anything is possible when you stay consistent. Because the truth is, success doesn't happen in isolation, it happens in connection. You rise higher when you rise together. And when you find that circle, that tribe that pushes you, believes in you, and walks with you. Protect it, nurture it, appreciate it, because the right people are priceless. They'll help you become the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. And when that happens, when you surround yourself with greatness, you won't just change your circle, you'll change your entire life. You were not built to quit. You were not designed to give up when things get tough. You were built for resilience, for perseverance, for endurance. Life is going to test you, not once, not twice, but over and over again. It's going to throw obstacles in your path to see if you really want what you say you want. But you got to remember who you are and what you're made of. You were built for more than breaking under pressure. You were built to keep standing when others fall, to keep fighting when others flee, to keep believing when the world tells you to stop. You've got to understand that quitting doesn't make the pain go away. It just gives it a purpose you don't control. Pain is part of the process. Every struggle, every setback, every sleepless night is shaping you into the person you need to be to handle what you're asking for. Too many people want the blessing without the burden, the success without the struggle, the crown without the cross. But that's not how greatness works. You don't get strength from comfort. You get strength from resistance. You don't grow by avoiding the storm. You grow by walking through it and proving to yourself that you can survive. Resilience is the muscle of champions. It's the muscle of champions. It's the ability to take a hit and keep moving. To be tired but still show up. To fail but still believe. To fall but still rise. You can't win if you can't endure. You can't fulfill your purpose if you keep quitting every time it gets hard. There's a version of you, the future you, that's counting on your endurance right now. That version of you is watching, waiting, and hoping you don't give up. Because every time you choose to keep going, you get closer to becoming that person. Every time you choose perseverance over pity, you build character, grit, and discipline. Life doesn't reward the fastest. It rewards the most faithful. It rewards the ones who keep showing up. The ones who keep grinding even when they don't feel like it. The ones who refuse to let their emotions control their commitment. Because it's easy to be consistent when things are going your way, but true resilience shows up when life doesn't make sense. When you're tired, when you're broken, when the world says it's over, but you still whisper, I'm not done yet. That's where greatness lives. In that moment between exhaustion and determination, every champion has felt like quitting. Every great leader, every world-class athlete, every successful entrepreneur, all of them have had moments where they question themselves. But the difference is they didn't let those moments define them. They pushed through. They remember why they started. They reminded themselves of what was at stake. Because resilience isn't just about strength. It's about perspective, It's about choosing to see every failure as feedback, every loss as a lesson, every delay as development. When you feel like quitting, go back to your why. Go back to the reason you started. Go back to the dream that made you cry, to the vision that kept you awake at night. Because if your why is strong enough, your how will always show up. The problem is too many people quit because they forget why they began. They lose sight of their purpose, and once purpose fades, perseverance follows. You've got to keep that why in front of you. Write it down, speak it daily, meditate on it, because your purpose will give you power when your strength runs out. Sometimes resilience means standing alone. It means being misunderstood. It means being the only one who believes when nobody else sees what you see. But that's okay, because resilience isn't built in crowds. It's built in isolation. It's built in those dark moments when it's just you and your fate. It's built in silence, struggle, and solitude. That's where you discover your real power. You don't know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. You got to stop expecting the journey to be easy. Nothing great ever came without resistance. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. Champions are built through pain. Every challenge you face is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. Every trial is training. Every hardship is preparation. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because the truth is, the tougher the battle, the stronger the warrior it produces. You can't pray for strength and expect no struggle. You can't ask for growth and expect no challenge. That's not how it works. The struggle is not a sign that you're failing. It's proof that you're on the right path. Growth is uncomfortable because you're being stretched. You're being pushed beyond your limits. You're being refined into the person who can handle the dream you've been asking for. So don't run from pain. Embrace it. Use it. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you that you're still in the fight. Resilience is built one decision at a time. Every time you choose to show up when you don't feel like it, you're building resilience. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're building resilience. Every time you keep believing after disappointment, you're building resilience. It's not something you're born with, it's something you build daily. And the only way to build it is to keep going, even when you're tired of going. Sometimes you won't see results right away. Sometimes it'll feel like nothing is changing. But that's when you gotta trust the process. Seeds don't sprout the day they're planted. Growth takes time. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Every day you stay committed. Something is shifting inside you. Every time you refuse to quit, your character grows stronger. You're developing habits, discipline, and mental toughness that will carry you through every storm. And here's the truth. Resilience doesn't mean you never feel weak. It means you keep moving even when you do. It means you can cry and still keep fighting. It means you can stumble and still keep walking. It means you can doubt and still keep believing. You don't have to be fearless to be resilient. You just have to refuse to quit. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. Every time you endure a storm, you gain wisdom. Every time you get through a setback, you gain strength. Every time you survive what was meant to destroy you, you gain faith. That's what resilience does. It transforms pain into power. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It gives meaning to your struggle. Because one day, someone else will need the strength you're building right now. One day, your story of resilience will become someone else's roadmap to hope. You've got to tell yourself, I was built for this. When life hits you, when plans fall apart, when doors close, remind yourself, I was built for this. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you feel like nothing's working, say it again, I was built for this. Because you were. You were built for the storms, for the pressure, for the challenges. You were built to rise, to overcome, to endure. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's about refusing to let your circumstances dictate your consistency. Resilient people don't give up when it gets hard. They dig deeper. They find another way, they adapt. Quitting is not an option when you're built for more. You don't stop until you've given everything inside you. You don't stop until you've given everything inside you. You don't stop until your purpose is fulfilled. You don't stop until your legacy is written. And when you come out on the other side, when you've endured, when you've survived, when you've overcome, you'll realize that the storm didn't break you. It built you. It refined you. It made you stronger, wiser, and more focused. You'll realize that everything you went through was necessary to prepare you for everything you're stepping into. So when life gets hard, don't fold. Fight, don't retreat. Rise, don't complain. Commit. You were built for this. You were built for resilience. You were built for victory. You were built for more. Every setback is just a setup for your comeback. Every delay is preparing you for your destiny. You may be in the middle of the storm right now, but hold on. The sun will shine again. And when it does, you'll look back and say, it was worth it. Because greatness isn't found in comfort. It's forged in adversity. And you, my friend, were built to overcome adversity. You were built to thrive in it. You were built to rise above it. So keep fighting, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Because your best days are not behind you. They're ahead of you. You were built for more, and the world needs to see exactly what that looks like. At the end of it all, you got to understand that being built for more is not just a statement. It's an identity. It's not just about achieving goals or chasing dreams. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to settle for less than their full potential. It's about living a life of purpose, discipline, and relentless belief that no matter where you started, you have more inside you than the world can see. Being built for more means understanding every moment of pain, every ounce of struggle, every test you face is proof that you're being prepared for something greater. You've got to stop waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, or the perfect condition. Because the truth is, you'll never feel fully ready. The people who achieve greatness don't wait until they feel confident. They start where they are and grow as they go. They fail, they learn, They adjust and they keep pushing. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. The ones who rise are not the ones with the best talent or the best connection. They're the ones who refuse to quit, who wake up every day and grind like their life depends on. They understand that purpose doesn't come easy. They embrace the hard days, the silent nights, and the unseen battles because they know that growth happens in the grind. Being built for more means understanding that life will never hand you what you want. It will hand you what you're willing to fight for. You gotta earn your peace. You gotta earn your pro. You gotta earn your greatness. And the only way to do that is by being consistent when it's uncomfortable, faithful when it's uncertain, and committed when nobody's watching. You can't build something meaningful on weak effort. You can't expect extraordinary results with average habits. The foundation of greatness is discipline, doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. You can't let your emotions dictate your execution. Feelings will lie to you. Some days you'll wake up tired, unmotivated, frustrated, but being built for more means you show up anyway. You push through the emotions because you understand that success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. It's about putting in the work even when you don't see immediate results. It's about trusting that your consistency will eventually create clarity, that your persistence will eventually produce power, and that your faith will eventually lead to fulfillment. Every setback you face was not meant to destroy you, but to strengthen you. Every challenge was an opportunity in disguise, chance for you to prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. When things fall apart, it's not a sign that you're losing. It's a sign that you're being refined. Sometimes life has to strip you of what's comfortable so you can step into what's possible. Every breakdown is preparing you for a breakthrough. You just have to keep believing that everything you're going through is building the person you need to be for the life you're meant to live. You got to stop doubting yourself. You've got to stop letting fear dictate your future. You survived too much to still be questioning whether you're capable. You've already proven your strength in every moment you didn't give up. You've already demonstrated resilience in every storm you've overcome. So stop underestimating yourself. You were built for this. You were built for the fight. You were built for greatness. And it's time you start walking like it, talking like it, and living like it. Don't let your past define your potential. Just because you failed before doesn't mean you're finished. Failure is feedback. It's a teacher, not a verdict. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else is a lesson. And when you embrace those lessons, you become wiser, stronger, and more dangerous to the limitations that used to hold you back. You learn that every no is just redirection. Every closed door is guiding you toward the right one. Every detour is still leading you to destiny. You've got to stop comparing your journey to others. Your path is yours. Your timing is yours. You might be in a season of planting while someone else is in a season of harvesting. But your time will come if you stay consistent. Don't let envy steal your energy. Don't let impatience distract your purpose. Focus on your lane. Work your process. Trust your grind. Because when it's your turn, no one can stop what's meant for you. What's for you will not pass you by. You gotta be ready when it comes. Being built for more also means understanding that greatness isn't just about achievement, it's about impact. It's not enough to win for yourself. You gotta win so you can help others win too. You gotta be a light for someone who's still in the dark. Your resilience, your consistency, your comeback is not just for you. Somebody is watching you right now, drawing strength from your perseverance. Somebody is believing again because you didn't give up. That's what being built for more really means. Using your story to lift others. Using your pain to inspire change. Using your journey to prove that transformation is possible. And as you keep growing, remember to stay humble. Remember where you came from. Remember the nights you prayed for the things you have now. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Humility keeps you focused. The moment you forget who you are or where you came from, you lose sight of your purpose. Never let success make you forget the struggle that shaped you. Never let recognition replace the reason you started. Stay hungry, stay humble, and stay focused. Because the journey doesn't end when you achieve your goals. It continues as long as you're alive. There will always be another level to reach, another lesson to learn, another version of yourself to unlock. That's why you can't stop growing. The moment you think you've arrived, you start declining. You were built for evolution. You were built to keep becoming, to keep expanding, to keep learning. Life is about constant progress, not perfection. Every day is an opportunity to get a little better, to become a little stronger, to move a little closer to your purpose. When you look back one day, you won't remember the easy moments. You'll remember the times you almost quit but didn't. You'll remember the nights you cried but kept going. You'll remember the struggles that built your strength and the challenges that defined your character. That's the real reward. Not just what you achieved, but who you became in the process. So as you step forward from this moment, make a decision, not just to live, but to live fully. Not just to exist, but to evolve. Not just to survive, but to thrive. You were built for more than average. You were built for more than excuses. You were built for more than excuses. You were built for impact, for excellence, for legacy. Stop hiding behind fear. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. The world doesn't need perfection. It needs your authenticity, your courage, your consistency. You've got everything you need inside you right now. The gifts, the strength, the wisdom, it's all there. You just have to activate it. You just have to decide that you're done settling. You just have to commit to being who you were always meant to be. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you have. It's about what you've done with what you were given. It's not about how long you live. It's about how well you live. It's about how well you live. So stand tall, walk in purpose, speak life, give your best every single day, even when it hurts, even when no one's clapping, even when it feels like the results aren't showing up. Because one day, everything you've been working for will align. The struggle will make sense. The pain will feel worth it. And you'll look in the mirror and say, I didn't quit. I didn't fold. I didn't give up. I was built for this. You were built for more, for greatness, for purpose, for legacy. Don't let anyone, including yourself, convince you otherwise. The journey won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Keep your faith strong, your vision clear, and your heart steady. You're not done yet. Your story is still being written, and the next chapter is going to be your best one yet.